Jan.
And I'm Ronnie, and we're designing dishes.
Today we're making something that is a favorite of a lot of people this time of year, spring and Easter. It's rack of lamb, and we're also making some roasted red potatoes. We're making 2 racks of lamb today, and a lot of people ask, well, how many ribs are on a rack? Most are 7 to 8. It is the expensive part of the lamb. It's the rib cage, and I think people are really going to enjoy this.
I think so too. You know, I didn't enjoy lamb years ago. I grew up in southern Georgia.
Did you?
And we didn't have any sheep, so I had no idea what lamb even tasted like or even looked like. In fact, I was about 20 when I saw my first sheep, and I looked over at the herd of sheep or whatever they're called, and I said, oh, look at the fuzzy pigs, and everybody laughed hilariously. But eventually I did learn to like lamb.
And how'd you learn to like it?
Well, my husband really likes lamb, and I was cooking lamb for him, and I discovered if I cut off all the excess fat and trimmed it really close and had really just basically the meat left, that I liked this. So I'm sure that what I was smelling was the fat of the lamb that was cooking, and that was giving me the kind of offensive taste.
Sure.
This is the way that a rack of lamb generally looks when it comes from the grocery store. You notice this flap of fat, and oftentimes the fat even comes up all the way to the top of the rib bones there. And this is the rack of lamb that I have taken off the excess fat and definitely taken off the flap of fat and trimmed the rib bones all the way down to where the actual meat begins. So I'm going to real quickly just show you what we're going to do on the fat here. You just take I use a boning knife, and I go underneath and just kind of peel back this flap of fat. Get under there and slide around. And then real quickly what you do to the ribs here is you just take your knife and cut all the way down to the bottom on both sides to where again, to where the actual rib meat is showing. Take your knife across and trim it out. And then that's going to give you these great Frenched, and this term is called Frenched because the French chefs were the first to do this to their lamb.
As Ronnie finishes this, I'm going to show you how to make the rub we're going to use. The rub we're using for each rack of lamb is 2 cloves of minced garlic, 1 tablespoon of fresh rosemary that has been chopped finely, 1/2 teaspoon of pepper, 1/4 teaspoon of salt. What's important when you use a rub is to make sure you get it in all the crevices of the Frenching that Ronnie has done. It's almost like lotioning your hands, just really generously rub it in. Now, if you do not have fresh rosemary, you could use fresh mint. You do not want to use dried herbs with this recipe.
No dried herbs here. You would not be very happy with your results. But I guess I would say if people don't have the fresh herbs, then I would go with a dried seasoning like Montreal steak seasoning or lemon pepper or whatever your favorite seasoning happens to be.
That's a very good choice.
I think we're good there.
Okay, we're going to set this aside at room temperature for 30 minutes and let it rest. The potato recipe we're using today is very simple. We're using 6 small red roasting potatoes that I've cut in half. The seasoning we're using is 2 tablespoons of olive oil mixed with 2 teaspoons of seasoned salt. Just going to mix this all together and put it on the baking dish that has been greased next to me. We're going to place the potatoes upside down, and we're not going to let them touch.
And you know, one of the great bonuses of this recipe is that by the cut side being down, they get extremely crispy. They're almost reminiscent of a French fry when they're done. And they have all that wonderful seasoning on them.
We are now going to place our potatoes in the oven at the same time we put the lamb in the oven. If you choose to put the potatoes in an oven that does not have anything else, you will be cooking it at 375 degrees for 30 minutes. Otherwise, cooking with the lamb, we're going to wait until it is fork tender.
I think our lamb is ready to go into the oven. We're going to put it into this lightly oiled baking pan, and we're going to cook it at 425 for 10 minutes. We're going to reduce the temperature to 350 for 25 minutes. And we're going to cook it until it's 140 degrees for medium, 160 degrees for well done.
We're checking our rack of lamb. We all want it to be 140 degrees because we like it medium rare. So let's look at that thermometer. 140 degrees. We're set to go.
We're ready to slice the rack of lamb, and this is a really super simple job. You're just going to come down between each rib, go all the way through, slices off quite easily. And you have your nice pieces of lamb that are going to be medium at this point. Nice color, nice pink color.
Great. Presentation is very important when you are serving a meal. Look at our lamb chops. We've chosen 3 lamb chops and cascaded them up next to watercress, which adds a nice vibrant green color. The mint jelly is a good accompaniment with the lamb chops. And of course, look at our gorgeous potatoes. Nice and crispy on the underside. What a great presentation.
Thank you for joining us. We hope you try the rack of lamb and the oven roasted potatoes, and we hope you enjoy it as much as we do.
We are the Designing Dishes. We are on Facebook. We are also designingdishes@gmail.com. Any comments you might have on YouTube, we'd love it. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.